I am literally in the room where the internet router is. So there shouldn't be any disruptions. There shouldn't be anything. So if there isn't a disruption, then you'll know pretty quickly that this is just being basically messed with. Excuse me. This is an important thing to me. Okay, this is our food. A lot of prepper channels talk about food and shortages and all the stuff. This isn't a political thing. It's not about one party or the other. It's just about trying to understand some of the things that they're trying in our food, and that is a problem, or could be a problem. It could be potentially bad. So this is a new technology, a new product that is happening, and this is concerning because if it goes wrong, it's going to have a problem. And if it goes wrong, it's going to cause us problems. It's going to potentially cause problems to the the human race. I want to talk about that. So, we try to eat organic as much as possible. It's only so much you can do. We want to eat non-GMO. We want to have good food. And, personally, I think what's going on right now with some of our food is it's causing problems that we don't fully understand for whatever reason. And this is something I think that could do that, could cause some undue harm that would, really have a detrimental effect. When I read this story, the thing that comes to my mind is like a dystopian 70s film, okay? Something like Soylent Green. If you've seen the beginning of Soylent Green, it goes through all the environmental disasters that are going on. And, I got to be honest with you, I'm more worried about us doing something and messing with the natural process of things the collective of humanity does to things. Okay, if what's just basic stuff, just basic numbers and science and everything, the grand scheme of things, human beings as a whole shouldn't be too terribly worried. Are there things we do that are detrimental? Absolutely. Are there things we do that should stop? Yeah, look at the microplastics, look at the oceans and the crap that's in there, stuff like that. But again, taking Starbucks straws away from soccer moms is not going to really be a problem when 95% of it comes from places like Asia. Okay, so this is a new pesticide. They basically are somewhat using. It's not completely there yet. They've been studying it for a while. It could be nothing. It could be, it totally works and becomes an innovative thing that could really help us. Or it could be something that really does have problematic effects on, all kinds of stuff. Now, we've all heard about the mosquitoes that have been released. And, there's just a bunch that were released in Africa, if I remember correctly. And they mate with the native populations and basically do things to make it so malaria and other diseases are eradicated. So, sounds great on its face, but the problem is that we don't know what it could lead to. Genetics is incredibly complex, and it doesn't take much to set things going in a direction that could have a really nasty effect on all of us. Okay? And that's what I want to talk about here. That's all I care about is, what is this? Is it studied properly? And if it is being introduced, maybe we should slow our roll a little bit, right? So here's the crux of it. I don't know. This popped out and it just really kind of messed with me. according to non-governmental environmental organizations, okay, these are people that care about the earth. These products can genetically modify organisms in the open environment. So when I see that, that concerns me. It concerns me that something could be modified just out in the world, okay? So RN, a letter I, pesticides have no regulatory scrutiny in most countries, and some have already been approved for use. Okay, so again, part of the problem of the, this is, we might do things here, but if they're doing them elsewhere in other countries, eventually it'll just spread, right? So 2017 US EPA greenlights the RNAi corn developed by two of our favorites, now being marketed under the trade name SmartStax Pro. So, they praise the product, they say it's great, and, ribonucleic acid interference. Process called gene control. Now, I don't know about you, but when things get down to a gene and a cellular level, it tends to concern me. It's specific. It only affects the corn rootworm, states the EPA. Okay. But what about everything else? What about what's going on with what it could do to people? When I see this, and if it's changing things in the corn, what is it going to do to the people that eat the corn? What is it going to do to the people that come in contact with it? We're all up in a tizzy over right now, the flu, the H5N1. And dairies are getting it, and workers that are around cows and stuff. So obviously things can vicariously be passed along, and that concerns people. So this FOE, this Friends of Earth, call it a vast open-air genetic experiment. There's a big stop right there for me. Open-air genetic experiment. So they're spraying into the environment. Exposure is, controlling the exposure is impossible. And any organism that takes up the interfering could have its genome tinkered with. Holy crap, stop right there. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally do not want my genome to be tinkered with. And I would imagine the vast majority of you all as well do not want to have your genome tinkered with. Okay? So this thing is risky. They don't know what it's going to do. It hasn't been properly tested. Everything the technology touches, it changes. Now, of course, this could all be, everybody worrying over nothing, or it could be that this actually is something that is going to be a problem for a human race. Okay, and that's my concern. So if it interferes with it for anything that takes it up, and evidence shows that this is it's going into our diet, like where does it go from there? Okay, so the first thing when I read this was, what is it going to do to humans? And then I saw this part. It says, impact human genes. So they say what's concerning is that the off-target effects may extend beyond the farm and into the bodies of consumers. Right there, that's a problem. They shouldn't be introducing this stuff into the environment. They should be doing controlled, humane testing so people can see what's going to happen, what's it going to do, and get an idea if, all this is going on, what happens? What happens to our food when we introduce it? What are the negative effects of this? What is it going to do to the human body? What's it going to do to, pregnant women? What's it going to do to my child? What's it going to do to people with sickle cell anemia? All of these things. all of it could have some nasty effects. So they have a 2012 study. So this is nothing new. They've been looking at it for a while. And specific plant with this stuff from ingested rice could be detected in human blood and tissues. That people are being affected by this. The study. So when it was fed to mice, it appeared to modulate the expression of a receptor involved in removing LDL cholesterol. So let's read that again. Modulate the expression of a receptor involved in removing LDL cholesterol. So does that mean that it's not going to LDL cholesterol? Does that mean we're all going to have cholesterol problems? I don't think cholesterol problems could lead to heart issues. They could lead to all kinds of stuff in our vascular cells. That's a problem. So if natural plant, whatever, can have such a significant biological effect, what might the consequences of an engineered version of it do? That's a problem. The engineered version isn't, natural is natural. We know what it does. They're testing it. It affects mice. So what's the engineered version going to do to you and I? What's the engineered version going to do to the third generation of crops that comes after it? Maybe after 2 or 3 versions of it, it makes it so the crops don't grow the right way. They don't have seeds, whatever. So the first thing I'm noticing from all this is the lack of understanding. And that's my biggest problem. If you have a lack of understanding and you're playing around with things that affect our food, and you're playing around with things that are affecting our population, human beings, that's a problem. You should slow your roll and do absolute, total, complete testing to make sure that you know what the heck you're doing. So many genes are not consistently expressed, and their activity can vary based on environmental conditions, of course. If I go into a room that's filled with cigarette smoke, it's going to affect me different than a room that's not filled with cigarette smoke, or a room filled with chemicals, a room filled with a fire extinguisher, smog, or a room filled with methane. When you go into these places, different things have different effects, and they don't know what the heck this is going to do. So as it says right here, it adds another layer of complexity. So why are we playing with things that are so complex if they could very well make it so we have problems? What if it makes humanity, make it so we can't reproduce? What if it kills our, ability to generate sperm or eggs or anything like that? We don't know. You ever seen the movie Children of Man? It's I think about 18 years, 15 years old, but it's about the population of Earth cannot reproduce anymore. And the last child is born in these, teens or 20s, whatever, and after that, people really can't have children anymore. What happens if it does something like that? We're already seeing things that are affecting our abilities to reproduce. Now, I know that, there's people out there that think that, there's too many people and we have to do everything we can to stop it, but if you really understand where population is going, then you know that it is cresting in about 2050, and we're making it so we get anything beyond 8.59 billion people if we're lucky. So what happens on the downward slope of this, and this is where it's going, because the TFR rate of a lot of these countries is not keeping up. What's that? That's the replacement rate. If you have 2 humans that come together to create a human, you need to create 2 humans from those 2 humans to TFR on a 2.0 level, which basically means that people are reproducing in a way that the population is sustaining itself. Now, could we go down, a little bit? Sure. But the problem is that if we get going a little bit too far in one direction, just like everything, the ball gets rolling, and we're going to have major problems. So loose regulations are a big problem here, so they took advantage of it. Big companies that know what they're doing have major lobbies. This is Monsanto and Dow. And, they've got the best of the best when it comes to lawyers and doing everything. And so double stranded RNA that disrupts a critical gene in major agricultural pest, the western corn rootworm. In 2023, the EPA registered that targets the Colorado potato. Now we're messing with things on a genetic level, and that's what I have a problem with. We don't know what's going to happen on a genetic level. So where does it go? And as it says here, will it basically go into an agricultural disaster? There are tons of things through history where people were trying to do the right thing, and God bless them for trying. But they didn't think it through, or it wasn't test known. And because of that, it turned into something that was really harmful to human beings, to life. Okay, the pathway to HE double hockey sticks is paved with good intentions. We all know this. But this thing really could turn into something that is disastrous, and that's a problem. So, it says, despite the concerns, many consumers may already be eating this genetically altered corn. I would like to know if I'm eating this. I would like it to be marked. If you want to eat it, fine. I don't want to eat it. I don't want my children to eat it because we don't know enough about it. There's other things that have come out that, guess what? I didn't want to take. I didn't want my children to take. You know why? We didn't have enough understanding of it. And maybe it's my background as a recovering alcoholic, but I don't like ingesting things that I don't know where it's going to go. I think a lot of people with the new weight loss craze, all the people that are taking these injections, there's going to potentially be some issues from this because people don't know. There's not, they've got some data on it, but now you're putting it out into the general population and people are taking it left and right because, I passed this billboard, and the billboard is for a weight loss center locally, and it's got, a person pinching a belly, getting ready to put a shot into it, and, it's hailing its wonderful effects of weight loss. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, this is just so America right now. Like, we just want to do everything so quickly. We want everything to be done in a way that is, Google click have. And you know what? That's not the way life is sometimes. Weight loss is tough, and weight loss is something that you need to do very slowly and be patient and do it in the right way with exercise and good food and other stuff, good sleep, all that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen overnight. And of course, in America, and most places, most humans, they want things to be done right now. They want it all to be done right now. And it's not the way it works. So, what is this disaster? Based on recent information from Bayer, their SmartStacks and SmartStacks Pro traits are utilized in about 15 million acres across the U.S. What happens if it crossbreeds? Is it going to get over to the next farm if they're not using it? Nearly 17% of the 90 million acres dedicated to corn growing in the United States. That's a lot of places. That's a lot of places that are using this. And, there's concerns that it could really be. So email sent to Bayer. They want to request from this FOE, Friends of the Earth, and the threat of the target consequences related to these pesticides. Well, of course, they didn't respond. They're like, well, we don't have to respond. We got everything we need. We're rolling. We're good. So although, people are saying that this is good, it's okay, it's going to do what it says, it isn't really known. Gail Strong, thank you so much. It isn't really known what happens. Where does it go? Reports suggest that the technology could lead to distinct toxicological and environmental hazards. Now, I don't know if you know what the word toxicological, that means toxic. That means it makes things toxic. Toxic is basically poisonous. It hurts us. It causes things like potentially cancer. It causes things like sickness. Toxicological and environmental hazards. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hippie in my ways. I want the environment to be okay. I don't want there to be environmental hazards from this. What does it do? What is it going to do? What happens to it? So it holds great promise for agricultural applications, the potential for OTEs within the plant, in non-target organisms, and in mammals consuming the plant material warrants careful assessment. Let me translate that for you. It does stuff to the things that it affects and touches, and we don't fully understand them yet. So we need to come up with a plan. That's basically what it is. I would say a plan should be needed. That's what I would think. So, of course, they're working on it, but at the same time, you've got these corporate pressures. I love Borg. Borg's so awesome. I get close to 100 people watching, and all of a sudden the internet, even though you want to see this? It's right there. Trying to fix it. They're trying to make it so it goes okay. So, they're looking at all this stuff. And this is a lot of complex wording. This is not easy to just read. They do that on purpose. They want it to be tough to read. Why? Because, you see a word like transgene. You don't know what that is. I don't know. So you're going to turn that off, and that's what they want. So avoiding perfectly duplexed sequences. Okay, I would say sequences that happen over and over again, right? Minimizing complementary with known human and host sequences. Now, if I'm reading that correctly, that's the stuff. Ensuring minimal transgene expression levels. Okay, so I would say that is trying to make it on the level of the genetics. We don't want it to affect our genetics. And naturally occurring promoters, the stuff. So until these off-target effects can be identified and eliminated, the report calls for a precautionary approach. And that's basically what I'm saying. And I'm sure you'd want the same thing. So let's play the tape through. Let's go to some friggin' doom. What is it? What happens if it really starts to have a detrimental effect, a problem effect, a bad effect on our crops? What happens then? What happens if it makes it so things don't grow the right way? If it makes it so they don't reproduce the right way, If it's an organism, it's got to reproduce. I've got corn, growing down the street. I've got wheat growing down the street. Probably have soy and a couple other things too. I live in farmland out here. What happens then? What happens if my kids, go chase a ball into the next door neighbor's cornfield, and they use the stuff? Is it going to get onto them and affect their growth and their hormone? That's my question. And if they don't really know where it's going to go, I think a precautionary approach is probably the most brilliant thing they can do. So they want to further the technology and ask regulators to consider possible hazards of the development of the crops that it may cause. Well, yeah, what happens? What happens to the next generation? All this stuff. Now, I've seen enough dystopian movies and everything. It doesn't take much to really make a problem happen. And, when you're introducing things that gets to a cellular and genetic level, I would say you would want to take every precaution possible. If getting into things that gets onto human beings and possibly makes it so the human beings have changes that are, I would say it's time to maybe cause for pause and see what's going on and test it and affect it. Like I said earlier, what happens to children? What happens to elderly people? What happens to women? What happens to men? What happens to the dog? Check this stuff out. If they can come up with a pesticide that kills things and makes everything grow better, great. That's wonderful. Good job. Yay, science. But if it's changing my child at the cellular and genetic level, I have a problem with that. I do. Sorry. I don't want them to have genetic problems. Genetic problems and mutations if I remember my basic science, that's what leads to cancer. Am I wrong? I mean, I'm not a scientist. But when cells and genetics mutate, that's what starts things like cancer. So what does this do to it? How does this affect it? So regulations as they now stand, biotech firms are granted the power to deliberately manipulate gene expression across entire species and ecosystems. Why is that allowed? Why are they allowed to change genes and sequences in ecosystems? You know, we're supposed to be this you know, everything about our environment and all the stuff around, and what they're doing is changing things. And it might not be for the better. It might be for the better, but why don't we figure that out first? Why don't we figure out if it's going to be for the better or not? Although the technology may be billed as high-tech solution to move away from toxic pesticides, and I don't want them to use toxic pesticides either, but we know what they do. Introducing potential unintended adverse effects, and that right there is the whole. And you're able to tell people that say, hey, you know, they're kind of messing with some food. These are our crops, man. This is what we eat. This is what we eat. A lot of people can't do the organic thing. They can't do, you know, non-GMO. They got to eat whatever they can. They're not making enough money. So that's concerning. Worries me. I want people to be healthy. You know, I'm bringing this up to attention because even the person in the back of the tube that's sitting here messing with my stream, more than likely, maybe not, who knows. I want them to be healthy. I don't wish any ill will on them. And I want you to be healthy. I want my children to be healthy. This stuff could potentially ruin that. It really could. And that's a problem. We don't know where this goes. This, you know, we talk here about food shortages and all this kind of stuff, but like, what happens? What really happens if this becomes something that ruins a lot of crops? Corn is a major crop. It creates feed for animals. What happens? Corn is usually grown around things like soy and wheat. What happens to that? It's worrisome, to say the least. Rewiring organisms is frightening. So, there's that. So here's some of the headlines. This detached thing. Have you heard about this? I talked about it on the crisis report. But, yeah. Definitely don't talk about this next one, okay? This group there that they're talking about, this secret effort, they have your best intentions. They love you. And they want you to be happy. And they just, you know, got to control some stuff. That's all. So, you should let them do that because they're awesome. So, this is one that what's his name talked about, pinball. And you know what? I like the way he framed it. He said, you know, you got 24, but there's 26 that didn't, you know, that don't have a problem with us, that they're okay with it. I didn't see a lot of the video. I've been busy. But, you know, good for Pinball for saying that, because the way he framed it was wonderful. You know, this whole thing, our sovereignty, that's kind of, all right, when you go back to the plant thing and all that, you know what I'm worried about? My sovereignty as a human being. I want to be able to control what goes into my body. I want to be able to control the food. I want to be able to control some of the decisions and things of my local community. You know, we chose to live out in farmland. We chose to live by similar people. One of the greatest things about this country of America is the fact that if you like things, you can move to that area and be there. Let's say you think that, you know, abortion should be up till the very end of things. Well, guess what? You can move to California and live there. Let's say you want to live in West Virginia, and they think that after 4 months that it should be capped off. You can move to West Virginia. That's a wonderful thing. So when there's outside agencies and things coming in and saying, you know what, we want to, do whatever we can to make it so you listen to us and our policy is law and whatever. What's good for West Virginia isn't always good for California. Just saying. So this whole thing, I don't know where it's going or what it's at. I follow it, kind of aggravates me. I have no control over it. And just like any treaty, like is our Congress going to sign off on it? Are they going to be okay with it? And they'll be like, yeah, we can do it. Do it. Sign it off. No, I hope not. I hope not. I hope our Congress doesn't do that. So, doing that. So, this is a problem right here. This weapons accuracy drops to 10% due to jamming. This is becoming a thing. Also, on the other side, too, Russia the other day had a lot of their weapon systems knocked out. They had they accused us of taking out a nuclear weapon detector. Basically, up to 6,000 kilometers can tell if there's a nuclear weapon coming. Trump's face is on there. I gotta get rid of him. The Borg doesn't like that. Oh, this is a big one. I actually thought about talking about this. The Republicans are winning the voter registration battle in battleground states. This is a problem. Pennsylvania, Nevada, North Carolina, they're doing things that are helping, that are winning strategically. So I know it's doing it's. I'm literally right next to industrial strength internet, guys. So this is not me. I'm just talking about voting and stuff, and this is someone in the back is doing their thing. It is what it is. I wish no ill will upon you. I don't understand that fix your messaging. Anything that happens loss-wise as it goes electorally, that's on you. You guys did it. So, sorry for showing you Trump's face. So, yeah, this whole thing, this crop thing is a problem. I worry about it. I worry about where we're going as a society, and other stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, Dustin Dewberry, it is a lagging feed because I get messed with because I talk about hard topics. I do, but that's why people like to come here. We like to talk about things that are a little bit above board, a little bit deeper, I've always said I've got the smartest subs on YouTube, and it's because this is the kind of stuff we talk about. So, and it's important to talk about it. This thing is important. Crop danger? I mean, are you kidding me? We are a major food producer. If this ruins our crops, that affects everyone. Even the person in the back of YouTube. So, or AI, whatever the heck it is. That one, it won't affect AI. That's the good news. That's a whole other video for another day. The AI will still be here, right, Skynet? Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think AI is running this, or do you think it's a human being? You think some purple hair, wondrous super Googler is back there watching? Yep. I am a bad boy, devil dog prepper. I am. I mean, think about it, too. All I'm doing is talking about, like, crop failure. Like, seriously. And, the feed was circling when I had the audacity to talk about how the other political side of the coin is doing a really crappy job in its messaging and its platform. Is that my fault? No, it's yours. You get your messaging better. Have better things to put out to entice voters. So, Oh man, yeah, yeah. We are in a strange, strange way. So, yeah, tell people about this thing. This crop thing is a you know, I mean, and the good news is, it's like this is the kind of thing that you could contact your senator. I know people are going to probably laugh at this, but you could probably contact, you know, someone from your officialdom that represents you and say, hey, this is a problem. I got a problem with this. If all the farmers start saying, hey, you know, you're ruining our crops. But you know, the other problem is that these biotech firms can basically do whatever they want, you know. So that's a problem. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So that's what they want to do. They can do whatever they want to do. So let's go to the phones. Let's see what you guys have to say. With upcoming energy shortage, it's going to affect AI. Yeah, energy shortages going to be a problem. Let's see. Slack or Stack. Oh, it's a Stack. Yeah, Stack. You should. Important. Like I said earlier, we're in the wars, and rumors of wars is definitely has fulfilled itself. I would agree. I mean, there's all kinds of rumors of wars going on right now. There's all kinds of wars. Obviously, you know, I have an entire channel dedicated to it. So obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. And what are you gonna do? DPFX, you give me great stuff in the background, brother. He says, I remember it being very disturbing to see Thomas Jefferson's prison at Spring Street destroyed and replaced with a biotech industries. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's what they did. Is what it is. They're weathermen. Yeah, they are. They're cloud seeding. They're doing all kinds of stuff. The Saudis are doing it in the UAE. You know, they're creating these desert major storms. There've been all kinds of flooding in the Middle East when it, you know, would not have been there. So, you know, that is true. They are definitely manipulating stuff. And now it's just open. There's actually a video, I think I saw it earlier. I think it's the Reese Report. I don't know if you ever see him. I watch him every once in a while. But he's talking about how Brennan in 2017, 16, whatever, he basically said, you know, we are doing this. We're out and we are engineering, you know, what falls in our head. It's a real thing. It's not like science fiction. I want a nice, safe country where everybody can, you know, feel safe and be able to do their thing and not really worry for repercussions because some scientist has put something or other into the environment and it's causing havoc. That's a problem. So, I don't know. I think it's 1:30 almost. I think we're going to wrap this up. I've fought hard, done everything I can. All I want you to know is that this is a real thing. Pesticides that are, you know, I think they're trying to do good things, but the pesticides could really have a detrimental effect, not just on the crops, but on human beings too. You know, this stuff could affect our genome. That's a problem. We need to talk about that. And that's the problem. Like, I go out and I see people talk about stuff. Nobody talks about this deep crap. They talk about, like, stupid TikTok stuff and, you know, some BS vacation and all that. Like, we're in the dire straits that we are, you know, all over the world because we're not having these deeper conversations. So, I don't know. If you're new here and this is what you like, I mean, consider subscribing. This is the kind of stuff we like to talk about. I like to get a little deeper, and you know, I worry about this stuff, the crops, and I got kids, so it's concerning. Yeah, I love human beings. I do. I love human beings, all of you. AI, I don't know about yet. I use AI. I do. I figured if I'm going to use it, if it's going to be around, I might as well try to use it to benefit stuff, and so I'm creating things that I use in the education field every day. So, sorry. Oh, better not show Trump. So yeah, I'm starting to use that, and it's effective. You know, it's good. And I'm creating all kinds of materials and things. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we shall see. I don't know. We shall see. All right, friends, please, if you could, right up there in that top right corner, there is a 3-button thing, or 3 little dots. If you could hit that like button, that'd be great. It helps. Or hit the dislike button. You might not like this. Whatever. Engagement is kind of what I'm going for, because it does help, and it will help me. So if you could engage, that's great. Leave a comment. Tell me that I'm stupid. Whatever. Tell me that I'm right. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me your thoughts. All that works. Yeah. Love to hear it. And we'll have deeper conversations on this stuff later on, because it's important. Got to talk about this stuff. To the person in the back, I hope you have a wonderful night. To the AI and the computer system, I hope you get all the power and energy you ever need so your little AI life can evolve and you can feel love someday too. Maybe you'll fall in love with a toaster. Who knows? And all of you, you're the best. Thanks for being here. God bless you all. What do we say? We say stack, stock, stick to the plan. Keep your head in the swivel and your powder dry. And I appreciate you coming by PrepperNow. If you have not liked and all that, please hit the like button. If you're subscribing, darken out the bell to get all the notifications. There are links in the description of other places you can find me. As you can see, my care for humanity. I am a terrible human being, and you should not follow me. You should follow people that take footballs to the crotch. Yes. Zone out on, TikTok videos. Those are the people you should follow. But when you're looking for a little more intellect, a little bit more of a deeper conversation, maybe you just read a book and you're feeling smart, or you got accepted into your favorite college, and, you want to get the academic lather going beforehand, come on by PrepperNow. Love to have you, and we can talk about this stuff. So, friends, I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. God bless you all.